Well, I don't even know where to begin at this time. I really don't know where to begin. There are so many things that have gone wrong in Nigeria. And to address them and to properly tackle the issues in Nigeria would require extensive effort. You know, it's important that we think about why we are having these protests in Nigeria, why we are seeing a lot of young people standing up for themselves, speaking up and saying enough is enough. I mean, there are several ways to look at it, but one way to look at it is to appreciate the fact that there is a shift in culture that is happening. There is a there is a movement away from the traditional ways of thinking, the old ways of thinking, from this very tall hierarchical way of being or building a society where whatever the elite or the older elite, whatever they say goes. And in that kind of system, especially if it's autocratic, where the older elite insists on their way without asking for any sort of feedback, any input from the young people, very autocratic. When you have a situation like that, young people feel stifled. I mean, now Nigeria is so blessed. That's why I don't even know where to begin, because there's so many things that is going on in Nigeria. So you have a population of young people that are brilliant, smart, incredibly smart. Oh my goodness. I mean, is it the young kids who are making videos? Or is it the young man that I just watched an interview, or his interview, who is building cars? Now we have two automobile companies in Nigeria, um, in addition to Innocent Motors. I mean, there's just a lot of incredible people, young people, innovating. And what we see, the innovations that we see, is just a sliver, a tiny fraction of the abundance of innovation and ingenuity that is in that country. Yet these older elite, in their greed, suppress these young people. They deny them of every access to be human beings, to be people. And so I think, and as a young person, as a person, when you cannot express yourself, when you cannot be creative and think and solve your problem, you feel trapped, you feel dead. And that's what has happened over the years. A lot of people feel dead in the country. They're not living. They're not. Let me share a quick story. There's a student, an African student in a university in the US. I'm not going to say the name of the university. An African student at a university in the US was slipped into depression. And They slipped into this depression because this kid was very brilliant. So they came to the US, but they couldn't get he couldn't get a work. He couldn't do an internship, get work. He was only he was only or he was pigeonholed into one major or one course. He could only study one particular area. So if he wanted to switch, he couldn't do it. So he couldn't work. He couldn't do anything creative. He couldn't even express himself. You know, he couldn't even volunteer. Let me put it that way, right? So this kid slipped into depression and took his life. So that is what is happening, because when you cannot express yourself, you know what's possible, and you can't do it. I mean, it's as good as being dead. So that's what's happening. I saw a video of some young men who were being shot at by the police in Nigeria, and they were running after the police. And I think some got injured, and I think some might have been killed. But they were running straight into the bullets, being shot at. That is the heights that this thing has reached. This operation has reached, to the point people are willing to give their lives. Listen, if the government officials should understand that they cannot stifle this. People are fed up. The young people, they are fed up. Unless you want to kill everybody in Nigeria, you can send the army, you can send the police. If you want to just keep on killing everybody, then that is the only way you can resolve it. Otherwise, this has to bring about change. It has to bring about change. What's happening in Nigeria is just terrible. So young people feel stifled. I mean, just come on, building roads. People go to school to study civil engineering. We have hundreds of schools in Nigeria, and you can't produce a civil engineer to build the roads. So these young people, they are seeing that even the things they could be doing are being contracted out. And it's not that, I mean, there are ways, of course, I'm not saying that Nigeria should do everything. I mean, we have to work with other countries, right? Africans have to work with other nations, other continents. The US has to work with other countries. I mean, that is how we are as human beings. We are designed to collaborate. We are built, That's how we've gotten this far as human beings. So I'm not saying Nigeria shouldn't work with other people, but you have to bring in the talents that you have on ground to collaborate with those that you're bringing from abroad. So the young people, they see even the roads are being done by other people. Nothing. Come on, railroads. To build railroads, you have to bring somebody from outside. Everything is outsourced. Everything is outsourced. But the reason for that is because these leaders take this as opportunities for them to keep some of the funds that have been allocated for the contract. So if they award a contract for a train, or a railroad, or for a road to be done, for anything, they negotiate with the contractor so they can keep some. That's what's happening. Have you seen the news or the video of massive bags of that food that was supposed to be shared and distributed to the citizens during COVID, when COVID was at its peak. But these leaders kept it in a massive warehouse. They were hoarding food for the people. They were hoarding food. Food. These are people who already have the means. You know, so that's why I said I don't know where to begin. It's bad. It's so terribly bad to the point that people, these leaders, have become insatiable. They will just want to keep expanding at all costs. At all costs. Keep growing their bank accounts, keep growing their resources, their resource pool, just keep growing everything about them, and they care less for the people. I mean, what kind of leader is that? It is so. So that's what's happening. There's a shift happening. There's a shift. Um, there's a cultural shift, and of course, we know there are more young people today than we had in the 80s or 90s. For example, I think about 13 or 14% of women between the ages of 15 to about 40 or 45 or so um, accounted for the entire population in Nigeria. That number has more than doubled now. You know, more women, way more than doubled now, right? Not just for women. So, so there's a shift. There's a demographic shift, and the young people they have a different mindset. They have a different way of thinking. They have a different perspective of the world, a different view of the world. The young people believe in Ubuntu. They believe in sharing. They believe in working together. They believe that we can work together to build a better society. The young people are they're not really looking for, I mean, we see some news about some young folks, being flashy. But frankly speaking, many of the young people in Nigeria just want a decent life. And they are hardworking, they are giving, they want to share. That's all they want. They believe in this philosophy of Ubuntu. I am because we are. And that is the African philosophy that our elders have forsaken. The elders are supposed to be teaching the young people how to give, how to share, how to work hard, not just for self, but for society. But the elders are setting a bad example. They just keep looting, keep stealing. I mean, there's no electricity in Nigeria, no light, for example, right? I mean, that's why I said I don't know where to begin. There's no electric power. I mean, you cannot guarantee stable electric power in Nigeria. And it cannot be solved. We have electrical engineers, we have mechanical engineers in Nigeria, and we can't solve it. Of course we can, but it's just that there's no political will, and these so-called leaders keep looting. If we were to collect a fraction of all the funds that all these folks have stolen, we can provide electricity in Nigeria in a very short amount of time. Have you heard of these governors and these senators who, after they retire, they continue to get allowances, they get cars, they get allowance to maintain their cars, they get, it is just mind blowing what's happening. It's just mind blowing. I mean, after you become a governor and as a former governor, you continue to receive some allowance. You have allowance for security. You have allowance for medical insurance, house allowance. You get a couple. You get actually get houses in Abuja and in Lagos. They get cars. I think about 5 cars, something along that nature. They get drivers. They get. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. These leaders are setting terrible example. They are bad examples. I'm not I'm not saying there aren't good ones now. I mean, there are very few good ones, and so for those good ones, just continue to speak up, right? But a majority of them are just bad, and with this shift happening, the young people are saying enough is enough. And I really hope Nigeria changes because Nigeria is a great country. And the people in Nigeria are great people. When I think of Nigeria, I think of the beautiful people. Um, I see paved roads, beautiful roads, clean streets. I see people drinking clean water. I see stable electric supply. That's what I see when I think of Nigeria. The talent to make these things happen is there. It's not hard actually. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. You know, I mean, there was a video I saw of some kids who actually turned trash. They used trash to generate um, power supply. Right? They were able to recycle plastics and were able to create they actually created their own um, energy source, and theirs cost less. Their energy source or their fuel costs less than what is being sold at the fuel stations in Nigeria. And they were able to generate these fuels from rubbish. The young people think they're in middle school or in high school, in secondary school, junior or senior secondary school in Abuja. These are what kids are doing, and these are kids who are doing this even without much guidance, right? Without much. Now, could you imagine the level of creativity that would come out of Nigeria if government was just to say, look, we're going to focus on developing our children. Let's bring in teachers. Let's hire teachers, or let's retrain teachers so that they can help us um, teach the next generation to be creative. It's a lot that is happening in Nigeria. A lot is happening, and I don't know. I don't know. It's just. I hope. I really hope that something good comes out of this. A lot of lives have been lost, and so I hope something good has to come out of that. It has to. I mean, no question. It has to. It has to. Okay, so let's hang in there. Thanks to all the support from the celebrities who've gone down to protest with the people, who've spoken up, all the foreign foreign entities, organizations, and also all the leaders, global leaders who've lent their voice in support of the NSARS movement, um, in support of the Nigerian youth. Is something to be grateful for. I wish I could see more outpour of concern for what's happening in Nigeria. Just like we saw when folks in Paris were killed as a result of a terrorist attack, we saw how global leaders all came together, right? Everyone came together. People changed their Facebook status and profile photos in support of France. I wish I would see more of that for Nigeria, but it's what it is. We have to fend for ourselves. It seems like, as Nigerians, we have to keep fighting for ourselves. So thanks to those who've shown support. Um, it seems like anyway. Let me not go there. As someone who has deep roots from Nigeria, I just feel really bad that I don't see that outpour of love and concern from the world like we saw when tragedy befalls on other nations. The soldiers who are killing the police, actually they are bad. Some of the NSARs, they are bad. There's no question about that. They are terrible people who took their position to oppress people, and they do it, with impunity. All those roadblocks that we see when you travel in Nigeria. I mean, these are all terrible things, ways of bothering and disturbing the peace of people, collecting money from them. Those should stop. I hope those moving forward, those should stop. There shouldn't be any more roadblocks in Nigeria moving forward. But I have to also say that they are actually the police, the army, the way they behave, the 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 fact that they extort from people, they are symptomatic of the bad leadership. They are symptomatic of the institutions that we have in Nigeria. So we should not look at them as the problem. They are not the root cause. I mean, they should be removed. I mean, they should be completely removed. NSAR should be banned, and those bad eggs should be completely removed. We shouldn't have roadblocks. Um, the police should be retrained. But my point is, we should understand too, though, that the police, and the armies, they are a byproduct of the society, and they are doing what they've been taught. I mean, you've seen photos of or videos of the police barracks, I mean, of the army barracks or the police training camps. They are malnourished. They are not fed properly. They are maltreated. I mean, they are basically being brutalized themselves at the camps. And so, how do you expect someone who's been brutalized at the camps to come out and protect you? They're going to come out and brutalize you, right? So, we need to think about ways to change, to change the way that these people are being trained. We need to rebuild our civil societies. You know, and maybe on my next video I can offer some more solutions or some ideas, some thoughts along these lines, because something needs to be done. And for example, when you look at what's happening, you can trace it all the way back to colonization. So what's happening in Nigeria right now, is is a byproduct of colonization. Yeah, Fela called it Kolo mentality. That's all. That's what we have in Nigeria. The fact that these leaders are looting, they learned that from their colonial masters. That's because when the colonials came to Nigeria and to Africa, what did they do? They looted. They just came to extract. They were like parasites. They just came to kill and extract. That was all they cared about. They care about their family. They care about lining their bank accounts. That's it. extract, 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 and if you are in their way of extraction, they kill you. That was exactly how colonialism operated. And that's why I don't even call it colonialism. I call it socio-economic parasitization. Is a process of being a parasite. Is a bad parasite that prey on the people. So when Nigeria gained independence, a lot of folks had copied from this colonial mindset, and the colonialism left us with colonial institutions, which we haven't changed. So let's keep that in mind. We are still operating in a colonial environment. So our leaders are basically, they just replaced the colonial masters. That's why they behave the way they do. They think they have authority and they don't care about your life. Just like the colonials don't care about your life. If you say anything, they lock you up. They shoot you down. They jail you. These are people operating with a colonial mindset. It's important we get that. And what colonialism did was it co-opted some citizens to work on his behalf. Okay, and that's what some of these leaders have done. They will take some citizens to protect them and to safeguard their ill-gotten wealth. So when we see a police or an army person shoot a Nigerian, a fellow Nigerian, it's important to realize that they have a colonial mindset where they don't have any regard for that African life that they just killed. They're just wasting that life. I mean, that's exactly what played out during colonialism. It was very autocratic. You don't have any say in your own affairs. But like I said, it's game over. We have to decolonize. It's time to decolonize. If we don't decolonize, forget it. We don't have a country. We don't, nothing. It's time to decolonize. Not just in Nigeria, but all over Africa. And not just Africa, but all over the world. We have to decolonize. America has to decolonize. Everywhere, decolonize. Nigeria has to decolonize. Even China has to decolonize. Because some of the things China is doing, they also learned. China is acting just like the other colonials did. You have to learn. It has to be a change of mindset. So we have to decolonize and get back to Ubuntu. Because until we realize that we are connected, that we are together in this, that what affects me affects you and what affects you affects me, until we realize that, we will continue to see each other as competitors as opposed to people that we need to embrace and work with.